To safely perform various maintenance operations, sometimes you must first depressurize or defuel the system. What's the difference between depressurizing and defueling? A lot. Here's how it breaks down. When you're working downstream of the red-handled fuel valve, that portion of the fuel system can be depressurized while still conserving the fuel in the tanks. This is done by isolating the pressure in all tanks from the rest of the system plumbing. But when work must be done on the fuel system upstream of the red-handled valve, all fuel inside the tank must be removed, either vented or stored elsewhere. You must defuel before servicing tanks, liquid and vapor shutoff valves, the pressure control regulator, primary secondary relief valves, or any component plumbed to the knuckle of the tank. Here's how to depressurize the system. First, park the vehicle in a well-ventilated area where natural gas can't accumulate. Then, close the red-handled fuel shutoff valve on each tank. Start the engine and run it until it stops. Remove the ignition key and verify that the engine supply gauge reads 0. Follow proper vehicle lockout procedures. The system is now depressurized with all fuel confined to the tanks and ready for safe servicing. When work is completed, repressurize the system following these steps. Open the red-handled shutoff valves, make sure the gray-handled vent valves are closed, and the system is now repressurized and ready for operation. Remove the vehicle lockout. If you have to defuel the tanks, first depressurize the system as we just described. After removing the shroud grate, remove the 3/8" line from the excess flow valve to the bulkhead as shown here. Remove the excess flow valve. Install a 3/8" NPT elbow onto the fitting at the red-handled fuel shutoff valve outlet. Install a 1/2" stainless steel tubing onto the elbow to create a temporary discharge vent. The tubing should be approximately 6 feet or 2 meters tall, as shown here, to safely carry vapor away. Attach a grounding cable to the tank. Now, slowly open the red shutoff valve to allow fuel to flow from the tank to the atmosphere. Do not leave the vehicle unattended while defueling. When fuel stops flowing, but prior to working on the system, make sure you remove all remaining combustible gas by purging the system with nitrogen. First, shut the red-handled valves. Connect a pressure-regulated nitrogen purge cart to the fill receptacle on the vehicle's tank and pressurize the system to 10 psi. Then disconnect the cart and replace the fill cap. Open the red-handled valves to let the tank pressure bleed off to 0 through the defuel tube. Then close the red-handled valves. Remove the defuel tube. Install a Macrotech female vent connector tool to the system's vent-to-station connection. Open all gray-handled vent valves and allow all remaining nitrogen to vent from the Macrotech connector tool. Listen for a no-flow condition to indicate empty. Close the gray-handled vent valves, disconnect the Macrotech connector, and replace the vent cap. Remove the ground cable. Once the nitrogen purge is complete, the system is safe to work on. When all work is completed, don't forget to reinstall the excess flow valve and the line from the excess flow valve to the bulkhead. Always clean the threads and reapply 2 or 3 wraps of nickel-impregnated Teflon tape on the threads when reusing tapered fittings. Refuel the tank following the tank conditioning procedures described in Segment 12, Tank Conditioning.